right? If I'm walking around with a dick on my head, right? And you come up and you're like, yo, why you got a dick on your head? And I go, what, you don't believe in expression? What are you, a fucking Nazi or something like that?
In this video, we're back with Andrew Schulz on the Flagrant podcast. Andrew Schulz schools the panel on how freaking weird Democrats are, and while the panel pushes back a bit, he gets in the last word. With that, let's watch Andrew Schulz explain why blue-haired men that think they're women aren't normal.
Curious because like Walsh hit them with that weird shit early, and actually like no, that it made a little wave.
So this is the thing. I think there was like a little wave here, but then the second you saw Vance talk for a long period of time, you're like, oh shit, he's not really weird, right? So they try to push a narrative because the media is very powerful. Like we said, left-wing media is so powerful, it convinced us this election was close. Yeah. Up to the day of, we were like, fuck, I don't know who's gonna win. So left-wing media is very powerful. They try to push the weird thing, but when you see him talk for 2 hours, you're like, oh, he's not weird. What's weird is Tim Walz saying he was in Tiananmen Square.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and then going, I'm a goofy guy. It's like, oh, you should be second in charge of America when you call yourself a goofy guy?
Yeah.
I don't want the guy who says that he's goofy second in charge, right? You go, I'm a serious guy who's about serious shit. Stand on that lie. Be like, I was there. Like if I'm Tim Walz, stand on that line. Son, say I was in Tiananmen Square. Say I wasn't.
Yo, Trump America is crazy.
Son, you gotta say,
bro.
say I wasn't.
Stand on
say
the
I
line.
wasn't. Find one bitch could say I wasn't. Do you know what I mean? That's what you gotta do. Say Donald Trump
right there.
I'd claim that picture. Like, that's me.
Me in the second tank. If the first go get her, I got her. Say I wasn't. You gotta stand on the line. Tim Walz tried to Forrest Gump his way into the vice presidency.
What is happening?
He said he won gold medal in the ping pong Olympics. So the idea that they're these like, it's just the party of like weird shit, right? Anything weird is them. If you're a little weird or off, you're them. Now here's the problem. When you're weird, it's okay to be weird, and we actually accept you being weird if you acknowledge you're being weird, right? If I'm walking around with a dick on my head, right? And you come up and you're like, yo, why you got a dick on your head? And I go, what, you don't believe in expression? What are you, a fucking Nazi or something like that?
That is such a great way to put it by Andrew there. The Republican Party, despite what the media will tell you, is far more accepting than the left. If you agree with the majority of my values and the things I hold important, like family, the Constitution, etc., maybe you live a lifestyle that I don't agree with. That's all right. That's why this country's awesome, man, because I don't have to agree with it. You can live your life the way that you want to. Up to and including, by the way, and this is just me speaking, trans people. I don't have a problem with trans people. It's what Andrew said. Like, it's the forcing everyone else to try to pretend for you that you're something that you're not. Now, if these people just went around and lived their lives, this wouldn't be an issue. But they're putting themselves in the spotlight and begging to be called weird by their actions instead of just living their lives. And while I think being trans is a mental illness, I really do, I know for a fact, because I've come across them, there are people in society that are trans that just live their life. They're not protesting. They're not telling you what pronouns to use, and they just live their life. Cool, man. I don't agree with that, but I'd certainly welcome you into the Republican Party, you know, and it's the opposite with the left. If you disagree with them slightly, you're gone. I guess I got off topic. My point is I agree with Andrew wholeheartedly that being different and weird is okay, and arguably a good thing, you know, to kind of not go with the flow and go against the grain. But if you're pretending to be something and acting like we're the strange ones for saying, wait a second, you're not a dog, and you're saying you're a dog, and they want to force you to say that they're a dog, that's when people get irritated. And the left, instead of distancing themselves from people like that, they're so desperate for voters right now because the party's just bleeding voters that they double and triple down on these super small percentages of the entire population on these issues that matter to like less than 1% of the population. Like I said, they want to force it on all of us instead of just letting those people live their lives. Anyway, let's get back to the video.
What the fuck is wrong with you? You guys are like, all right, I don't want anything to do with this fucking weirdo, right? If I go, I lost a fucking fantasy football thing and this is the punishment, then you guys start going, oh, okay, this is a fucking guy. He's in a fantasy football league. He's a normal dude. The problem with the Democrat perception right now is they will be weird as fuck, and if you question it, you're a Nazi. Why are you allowed to win a gold medal for beating the shit out of women as a man in the Olympics? What are you, fucking an animal that thinks that a woman can't have a dick and balls? Like they'll say that out of their mouths on CNN. They're like, why can't women have a dick and balls and beat the shit out of other women who don't have a dick and balls?
Does she still have her gold medal? Does she keep it?
They got to take that shit back. That is crazy. It's he. Now we know.
Well, yeah, well, what is it? What does he identify as?
Oh, that's right. Whatever. Yeah. Again. So perfect example, right? So it's just the party of, it's like the drag queen comes in to like read books to the kids. And the dad who works like in construction goes, wait, what happened today? Yeah, a guy dressed in makeup came in and read books to us. And he goes, what's up with the drag queen reading books to the kids? And then the school goes, oh, I'm sorry, are you trying to raise a bigot that's not accepting of the drag queen? Like, what the fuck is a drag queen reading to the kids for? You have to go, oh no, it's actually not a drag queen. We had different versions of clowns coming in, and one clown dresses as much. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's more of a clown thing, and we thought that clowns are kind of funny. And then the dad goes, oh, I like clowns. Okay, that's fine. You can't immediately slap the person in the face for asking a question why you're being weird. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what a lot of people are voting against, which is we got to stop pretending we're not being weird over here.
Yeah.
If you like watching videos like this one, like and subscribe. We'd really appreciate it. Let's get back to the video.
And I think it's going to take Democrats acknowledging at least acknowledging, hey, we're the party of like acceptance, but sometimes we're accepting things that are a little out there for people. So let's do a little explaining.
Also, Donald Trump put that on the part. Dude, I sent this ad to the group when I first saw it. Is the Donald Trump is for you, Kamala is for they, them.
Bars.
What a fucking ad. And it's got Charlemagne, who's openly a Kamala supporter, being like, saying Kamala wants to support surgery for prisoners, blah, blah, blah. I'm
Also,
not into that. Then
pronouns-
Kamala's saying, yeah, I want to do that.
Saying your pronouns before I ask you is like weird.
Has that ever happened?
It's just weird. You're just being weird. Stop
I agree.
It.
I agree. That would be
you
weird.
admit you didn't like that haircut that you had?
Would I
That,
say
that
again?
was a version of the dick on the head.
But to anybody that said, yo, your haircut's stupid, I go, yeah, I know it's stupid.
No. You said you liked it at first.
Alex.
You said you liked
But
it.
me liking it doesn't mean that I don't acknowledge how absurd it is.
So I see what you're saying.
Oh, okay.
Imagine
I've never
if he
heard you
goes-
acknowledge it.
Imagine if he
Bro,
goes,
I'd be on
what, you don't like
stage.
this haircut? What the fuck is wrong with you, you dickhead? What, you don't like this hair? What's your problem?
Stop.
No, he would say it's a shit, and he would pretend he was going to start a trend, and then anytime someone does it, he still takes credit for it.
Yeah,
even though
I know.
he gave up on it.
So
But
here's-
that's different than you're fucked.
I
Or
understand.
not like
I
okay.
understand the point you're making, but like for me, when I was on stage, I would make jokes about.
He
I
had
look like.
a joke
I said I
built
look
in.
like
You did,
Kim
you did.
Jong January 6th, right? Like I was just.
Andrew said something that I wrote down on my notes before he even said it. Like, while I'll never agree with liberals, if they just acknowledge whatever weird behavior they're engaged in and say, look, I understand why some folks might see it as strange, but this is why I do it. I'd have a ton more respect for them. You're acknowledging that there are other people in the world besides you, and they might view what you're doing through a different lens than you do. And the haircut versus dick on the head thing that the guy just kind of brought up there, maybe they were trying to say this or they're going to say this, but the difference there is, okay, if I have a weird haircut and everyone thinks it's weird, but I like it, that's way different. And I think Akash kind of did address this. That's way different than me saying, why would you say this is weird? This is perfectly normal. And you better, I don't know, call me by a different name when I have this haircut or whatever. Getting angry at someone's opinion of your weird haircut. Disagreeing with someone about your own fashion choices or hairstyle, I mean, that's very different than forcing people to accept something that's just not reality. Also, liking a haircut or not is subjective. It's in the eye of the beholder. So if I say I like it and someone else says they don't like it, we're both telling the truth. But if I tell you to acknowledge me as a woman and I'm clearly a man, and I say I'm a woman and they say, no, you're a man, one of us is objectively correct there. It's not about feelings anymore. It's just about basic biological truths. Anyway, let's wrap up the video.
I would just make absurd
Oh,
jokes
I
about
didn't know.
myself
That's
and how like
hilarious.
stupid I looked with it.
Yeah.
So like I was aware of how ridiculous it was.
Okay.
And there's a part of me that like likes trolling people.
Yeah.
But then when I saw other people starting to do it, I was like, oh, you better keep that same energy when Ronaldo does it. If you make fun of me with it, and then when Ronaldo does it, now it's cool, or Kid Super did it,
Yeah.
now it's cool, then I'm going to be like, yo, keep the same energy. But
So to your point, that is you acknowledge that
I did the
it's
weird dumb
Okay.
thing.
Okay.
Maybe I like weird dumb shit.
Yeah.
And maybe people like being weird or dumb. That's totally fine.
Yeah.
But I can at least acknowledge anybody that was like,
if Dick on the Head guy from his earlier hypothetical just goes, I'm weird.
Yeah, you know what's
You'd
so
be
funny?
like, all right, there you go.
I
Thank
did,
you.
you know, it's so funny. I didn't even need to do Dick on the Head. I could have done my haircut. That example works perfectly with the haircut. Yeah, that's how normalized that haircut was to me. But that was essentially wearing a dick on my head for a year and a half. But good example, right? And how annoying would I be if I was like, oh, what, you just don't know fashion? That's the Dems, essentially.
Okay.
Okay?
I get it.
Most furries.
Someone just said, I was about to say most furries are Democrats, I think. I don't want to put words in their mouth, but I think we'd all agree with that. But what do you think about Andrew's explanation of why Democrats are so friggin' weird? Let us know in the comments. Anyway, as always, really appreciate you watching. We will see you on the next one.